Hi folks, this is changing the subject. It might also be called writing in terms of. So first example here is v squared is equal to u squared plus 2as. So this topic, really we're just trying to get whatever it wants and we want to move everything else to the other side. So here it says to express a in terms of v, u and s. So we just want to get the a here by itself and we want to put everything else over on the other side. So we're just going to do opposites. So opposite of adding is subtracting, opposite of multiplying is dividing, and opposite of squaring is square root. So we're going to use those things to move things to the other side. So first of all, I'm going to move the u squared here. That's just being added on that side. So when it goes across, it becomes a minus u squared. So that's my first step here, is to subtract u squared, or to move it over to the other side. Then we're left with v squared minus u squared equals 2as. And then we almost have the a now by itself. We need to remove the 2 and the s, and they're both being multiplied by the a there together. So because they're being multiplied, I can bring them over and divide. So v squared minus u squared is equal to over 2s is equal to a. And that's what we wanted. We want to get a situation where a equals, because that's what the question means. The second one there looks a bit more awkward. Because we have a square root here, the opposite of square rooting is to square. So if I square both sides here, what it'll do is it'll remove the square root altogether. So we're just going to have x plus y over x minus y. Whenever you see a square root like that, to get rid of it, you can square, but remember you have to do the same thing then on the other side of the equal sign. If I square the other side, 1 squared is 1 and 2 squared is 4. We can just square both things individually. Now I need to express y in terms of x. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to do that multiplied by that and that multiplied by that. And then we're letting them be equal to each other. So when we have two fractions with an equal sign in the middle, we can cross multiply. So 4 multiplied by x plus y is equal to 1 multiplied by x minus y. You're multiplying the diagonals. Then we can multiply into the brackets. 4x plus 4y is equal to x minus y. Now if I bring all the x's to the one side and the y's to the other, I'll bring the y's to the left hand side. So we get 4y plus y is equal to minus 4x plus x. Then if we combine them, we get 5y is equal to minus 3x. And if I divide by 5, I get y is equal to minus 3 over 5x. And that's my answer there. Last example. First thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove the denominator. So I'm going to bring across this 3t plus 1, all of it, and multiply it by the x. We get x times 3t plus 1 is equal to t plus 4. Then if I multiply in the x, I'm going to get 3tx plus x is equal to t plus 4. We have a bit of work to do still. I'm trying to get t by itself. Now I've got a t here and I've got another t here. I'm going to bring all the t's to the one side anyway, and everything else over to the other side away from it. 3tx minus t is equal to minus x plus 4. That's just moving the t to the left hand side and the x to the right hand side. Now we still have issues here, but at least we have all the t's now on one side. Now I can't add them to each other or subtract one from the other, because one of them is a tx and the other is just a t. So there's not much we can do, but we can do something. We haven't seen this in the other examples. What I'm going to do to get one t by itself, I'm going to factorize out the t. So I'm looking at these two things and I'm taking out what's common out of it, and I'm opening a set of brackets here, and I can take t from both of them, and then I'm just left with 3x and minus 1 in here. So that there is the same thing as that, it's just that the t has been factorized out. So when you have that going on, we have to factor these out because we need to get t equals, we need to get 1t by itself, and there's no other way. So last step then, because t is being multiplied by the 3x minus 1, I can bring the 3x minus 1 over to the other side and divide it. So we're going to get minus x plus 4 over 3x minus 1, and that's it. Right, here's some more then. If you want to pause the video and try them yourself, you can, and play it on, and I'll go through the answers. The first one here, we have to get x by itself. I'm going to move the minus y over 3 over to the other side. So we're going to get 2x is equal to y over 3 plus 1 over 3. Then we have to divide by 2. If we divide everything by 2, it gives us x is equal to y over 6 plus 1 over 6. I'm just multiplying by the 2 on the bottom because the 2 goes onto the bottom, and you could write that as x equals y plus 1 over 6. Now I could have multiplied everything there by 3 first of all, and it would have made it maybe slightly easier to look at and to deal with. There'll be different ways of doing these as well. There's not just one way depending on what you do first. This one here, I need to remove the fraction there first, so that's the biggest issue here. If I bring the 3 over to the other side and multiply it, I get 3z is equal to y minus 2x. Now it looks a lot easier. I have a minus 2x here. I have a few possible ways of doing it again. I could bring the minus 2x over to the left hand side, and it would make it positive and make it maybe a bit easier to deal with. Or I could just move the y across. That's what I'm going to do. So 3z minus y, I'm moving this y across, it becomes a minus y, is equal to minus 2x. Now I've one step left. I'm going to divide by minus 2. 3z minus y over minus 2 is equal to x. That's the answer there really. I could divide the minus up and it would become y minus 3z, just everything on top gets, the sign is changed, and I could make the bottom into a positive 2 then. When you have a minus, it doesn't matter if the minus, you put it onto the top or to the bottom when you have it there like that. So something like that is your answer. This one here then, first thing I'm going to do is cross multiply. I have two fractions and an equal sign in the middle. Therefore, a lot of the time, the easiest thing to do with those is just cross multiply. Therefore, I get x a minus b is equal to y a plus b. Multiply in the x, ax minus bx is equal to ay plus by. Now I'm trying to get a by itself. I'm going to move all of the a's onto the one side. Therefore I'm going to move this ay over to the left hand side, and I'm going to move this minus bx over to the right hand side. So at least we have all of the a's on one side and everything that doesn't have an a on the other side. Ax minus ay is equal to bx plus by. And now, same step I did back before, I'm going to, because we have an a stuck in both of those things on the left hand side, I'm going to factorize out the a, and we're going to get a x minus y is equal to bx plus by, and then I'm left with equal to bx plus by over x minus y. I can bring over the x minus y because all of that is being multiplied by a. I can bring it over and divide it. Last one then, I'm going to move everything with an a onto the one side. We're going to get bc is equal to ac plus ac. Now what you could do here is you could factorize out the a there if you want, but you might realize because both of them are the same thing, they're both just ACs, AC plus AC will become 2AC. Therefore this one is going to be an easier one. There's not going to be too much more to do. I'm trying to get the a by itself. We only have one a in here, therefore you can bring across the 2c and divide it. So BC over 2c is equal to a, and then because we have a c on the top and the bottom, they'll cancel out, and we're left with b over 2 is equal to a.